Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we're discussing a watch that launched in 1992, known then as the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Grande Taille. The watch would later become known as the Master Control, and it's an appropriate moniker, as this model, the Master Grande Taille, inaugurated the era of the Master 1000 hours durability and chronometry control at JLC. More on that in a moment, but let's talk about the basics here. The watch was considered to be the big case, Grande Taille, large-sized in 1992, but today it feels a little bit vintage in its size and proportions. 37 millimeters in diameter in traditional yellow gold. The watch is 9.9 millimeters thick and 43.6 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. When you throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it looks good, but it does look like a vintage watch. I've always felt that yellow gold plays best in smaller sizes and vintage timepieces, and this is both of those. You can see that the watch is flat enough to fit underneath the dress cuff, and on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see I've got plenty of clearance on either side of the lugs. The lugs are nowhere near overlapping the edge of my wrist, so I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference. It's a great unisex option. The strap is a Jaeger-LeCoultre factory strap. Large rectangular scale alligator leather and matte finish on the top with a monotone stitch, a sheer cut edge, no bolstering to keep the strap thin. On the bottom it's calfskin. You can see it's unmarred calfskin on the bottom. The strap is brand new and unworn. We have a JLC first generation folding clasp in yellow gold. We have the JL logo on the top. Turn it all over. You can see back then there's a maker's mark for a company that is not JLC, because back at the time, JLC did not make all of its cases, clasps, and bracelets as it later would. So this is sort of a sign of the way we were back in the early 90s. You can also see that this hallmark right here, it's a rectangular form with a woman's head in it, Helvetia, and that would have been used from about mid-1995 and prior. Mid-1995 and later would have been a diamond-shaped hallmark with a dog's head, so you can tell when this watch was made. And you can also see that the hallmarking on the case back matches the buckle, so this watch would have been made, as you see it here, between 1992, when the Master Grande Taille debuted, and mid-1995, when the hallmarking standard changed. To good effect as well, this is a vintage watch in more ways than one. The dial is original faded factory tritium. Both hands and dial, they don't always match. Sometimes hands are replaced with Luminova surrogates when a watch goes in for service. You can see right here that the lovely tritium patina of this dial is all real. Watch how quickly it fades. Tritium has about a 12.4-year half-life, so this watch made in the first half of the 90s is dead as a doornail. There's no radioactive element to activate the phosphorescent component of the luminescent paint, so it fades out, and it has a wonderful real patina. This is no photina here. It's also a nice color that is in concert with the color of the case. Now, the case is simple, slim case band. We have a slightly inset, shallow conical bezel. We have integrated lugs, Calatrava style, a JLC branded push-down crown, 30 meters water resistance. There's a little bit of a rounding off on the edge of the lugs, a transitional bevel from the tops to the sides, and then a silver sunburst metallic dial that originates from under the hands, and the grain flares out. We have applied tri-Arabic numerals at 6, 9, and 12. We also have applique dart style faceted and polished yellow gold indices, yellow gold Dauphine hands, and then a fired blue lancet style counterweighted seconds hand with a little yellow gold frame faceted and polished to frame the date, which has a wonderfully serify font. We have a hacking seconds function to stop the seconds hand, so you can set the watch to a reference time. We also have a quick set date, so you can rapidly cycle the date if you need to. On the reverse side, back then we had individual numbering representing the sequence in which these watches went through the Master 1000 hours control. Why is that important? Because the Master Control back in 1992 inaugurated an in-house testing standard that met or exceeded the chronometry standards of the COSC, and then also included things like power reserve, winding efficiency, durability, and water resistance. So the Master 1000 hours control is a comprehensive test that applies to the whole watch, whereas CSC only applies to the bare movement. Also important, these movements were tested in 6 positions, not the 5 of the COSC, and you can do the math pretty quickly. 1,000 hours is well over 40 days, whereas the COSC test is just about 2 weeks. So it's also a much longer test of the movement. We have that little fish. The watch was 30 meters water resistant inside the case. We have the great caliber 889, a thin, fine, automatic winding haute horlogerie movement used by everyone from Jaeger-LeCoultre to Vacheron to AP and many others. It's an automatic winder, bidirectional, with a 38 to 40 hour power reserve. You've got the hacking seconds, the quick set date, the 6-position adjustment. It pivots on 36 joules. It beats away at 8 beats per second, and it is quite beautifully decorated. So though you can't see it, it's finished with integrity. Also important is that the testing standards for these Grande Taille watches, this series, it was always +6 -1 over 24 hours. So remember, the COSC is +6 -4, so even the testing standards of the Master 1000 Hours Control went a bit beyond COSC. And again, this is a fully assembled watch. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.